Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Liberals don't realize that they aren't liberated from reality. Hello and welcome to another video. Today, woke liberals are taken care of. Don't forget to hit that like button.
Student loans. We built up $75,000 of student loan debt. Say the degree one more time.
I study Shakespeare.
Okay, Shakespeare. Lovely guy. What are you going to do with that?
Well, that's such a complicated question.
Oh, no. I was really hoping for a more, you knew what you were going to do with this much school and student loans.
This is where you just have to say, we come from different worlds. You're not going to understand this.
What do you mean?
You won't understand like the precarity and why it's really all right.
What do you mean though?
Like your reaction there was like, oh,
I studied music composition in college. I was in the College of Arts School of Music. I asked the job and you didn't know what to say.
So I have a lot of experience working at writing centers. So I could be that, there's availability for those kinds of jobs. I also, something I really enjoy is like working with people who are like applying to college. I've like played around with the idea of like opening a business, doing that, something like that. I have a lot of experience and a lot of success, like helping people with resumes and getting jobs. So I could do stuff like that. Like I could be a professor.
So we at least have a path of where
and I have lots of backup paths too. And I'm like very good at what I do. So I will have a job.
Yeah.
Like that's not a concern at all.
How long is this PhD?
6 years. It's pretty standard.
Guess we do come from a little different worlds because music composition is like 2 to 3 years.
So he has 75,000 students loan, but has money to transition. We all see that's a dude, right?
Yeah, Transgender Arago gang members that are in the country illegally. That's a good thing that that's happening, thank God. Huh?
What articles? Can you cite them?
ICE arrests nearly 200 Transgender Aragua members, prepares deportation flights to Venezuela. This was just a report that I pulled up from February 5th, but this is what being widely reported on. This is one of the most violent gangs in the world that Joe Biden and his open border Democrats imported to terrorize the United States, which is just really loving and amazing.
Yeah, it's also one of the most violent gangs in America? Proud Boys.
No, it's not.
Yes, they are.
No, it's not.
Yes, they are.
Not by a long shot, actually.
Not by a long shot. Okay, how about the KKK then? They're a gang.
Name me one murder the KKK has committed in the last 20 years.
Oh, honey.
No. Let her answer.
Oh, honey.
That's fine.
In the last 20 years?
Yeah,
in the last 20 years. One, I can't give you an example, but they have a hard...
The most violent gang in the U.S. You can't give one example of a murder over the last 20 years?
Lynchings, honey. Lynchings by lynching.
50 years ago, they're not a pertinent problem right now, right? We should be focused on
they're
people
not
who are
a
actively
pertinent problem
slaughtering
right
people
now.
in mass.
Oh my gosh, your brains are tiny.
I think you're overestimating how much of a threat those groups are. When it comes to the KKK, evil, bad people, I condemn them totally, but I'm not going to pretend like they're like terrorizing Americans everywhere. It's not a thing.
It's like, oh, these are the most violent groups. This is the most violent.
Transgender Aragua is way more violent than the KKK.
American people. These are the examples that you're giving me. I'm giving you examples. I'm saying that Proud Boys are the largest gang in America. That KKK is the largest gang.
You're saying that Proud Boys are the largest gang in America?
Most violent. Excuse my language.
What is your basis for saying that, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll pull it up.
Some people just speak for the sake of making sounds. When a person start chanting honey, sweetheart, babes, and the others, they really have nothing to say.
Okay, right now I am waiting for an Uber outside because I just showed up to the house of the guy that I've been dating, and he had the Trump rally or something playing on the TV, and I was like, oh god, like why the f are you watching this? And he proceeds to tell me that he fully supports Trump, and we got into an argument, and he straight up said, women's rights, I do not care about women's rights, I care about my interest rates. And I said, just to clarify, you're saying that you care more about your interest rates than women's rights? He said, yeah, I don't give a f women's rights, it doesn't affect me. He has a daughter and an ex-wife. I said, what about me? What about my rights? What about your daughter's rights? He said, I don't give a f care about my interest rates. I said, okay, I'm leaving. I literally have an overnight bag. I was supposed to spend the night. I am now standing out in the cold waiting for an Uber because absolutely I am shaking. I have never experienced such a thing in my life. I am shocked to my core.
She's never experienced such a thing because such a thing has never happened. You were prepared to spend the night at a guy's house and you didn't know who he was voting for? That's impossible.
Hey, I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my car right now.
You're not welcome.
I'm not Around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
vest. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! Get out of my bar.
If this was the other way around, Sonny would be tearing up on The View.
Do women have rights in Gaza?
They should have rights in Gaza. And
Do they?
I am saying that they should have rights in Gaza. Okay, so you sound like you are in favor of, you feel like women have more rights under the Israeli.
Absolutely, yeah, they do absolutely have more rights.
Okay, I think we've got a political disagreement here.
Do you agree that Israeli women have more rights than Gazan women?
I don't know that they necessarily do.
Again, like women can leave their houses in Israel without permission of a man.
I'm gonna end this conversation now.
Without lies, wokeness dies.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly
Give me an
you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
This is the most delicious apple I have never had the luxury of eating. I wish I was on that field when this was happening. The robot journalist couldn't even look him in the eye.
Gay!
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Doge is cutting so many important programs for the American people. And if you are on this program, I am so sorry I was wrong about Trump. Here are the 10 programs evil Donald Trump is cutting. For starters, I'm not an expert, but National Bubble Wrap Stress Relief Program, $1.4 million a year. Bureau of Mailbox Feng Shui, $900,000 a year. Federal Balloon Animal Training Academy, $2.3 million a year annually to train clowns how to fold balloons. National Pretzel Twisting Initiative, $600,000 a year. Tells you how to untwist a pretzel. Then we got the Department of Sock Pairing, $1.8 million a year. The Federal High Five Coordination Bureau, $1.2 million a year, annually coordinating high fives between human beings. And number 7, National Ice Cream Structural Integrity Lab, actual ice cream cone. That was $700,000 a year to make sure that they're not leaking ice cream. The Office of Puddle Depth Measurement, $3 million a year annually measuring potholes that have water in them, even though they don't fix them. Number 9, Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing, making sure that your alarms are going, to wake you up. That's $1.5 million a year. And 10, Federal Glitter Cleanup Task Force, $2 million a year. But to top it off,
so Gaza gets condoms and America gets Planned Parenthood murders. Really? Who made these? Who signed off on them?
Can we please normalize intimacy without commitment?
No. A decade from now, she'll be weeping about a baby daddy that doesn't want to be in his child's life.
The Constitution on whitehouse.gov has been taken down.
That's a website, not the Constitution. It's just a website, not the actual Constitution. You do know that the Constitution doesn't live on a web page, right? That's just a 404 error. Are you okay?
Also, she was lying. It hadn't and still hadn't been taken down.
Wait a minute. You think it's a good idea to go to events where people are trying to get federal money and they're paying to see you?
They're not paying to see me.
I thought you just said you spoke at events where people paid.
Not to see me. I mean, I'm not that important.
You're the... Wow. You'll learn new things every day. You are What's your title? You're the director of what?
Of the Loan Programs Office.
You're the director of the loan programs for the federal government, Department of Energy. People who want to get loans from the government are paying to see you, and you think that that's fine? That's not a rhetorical question.
The woke liberal tunnel of corruption runs so deep.
This is anger and hatred of women right here. That's all this says to me.
How is this? Forgiveness for murder can be found in Jesus Christ alone. I tell the truth, abortion is murder. And then I say, you know what? Good news though. You can agree with God that this is murder, and you can lay it at the foot of his cross, and he will.
God never said it was murder, for real. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely nowhere in the Bible was abortion stated.
If I thought, if
nowhere.
I brought up the Bible a couple of times, and every time I do, you jump somewhere else. If I truly thought that you cared, do you care about what it says in the Bible?
It's okay. She'll probably become a kindergarten teacher one day. They love kids, guys.
I'm actually an instructor in history. My main area is World War I and World War II. And I really hate it when I'm teaching those classes and then we have a political discussion and students immediately go to the fascistic, kind of like Hitler comparison. But that's my question that I have. At what point, if you see the development of what's happening currently right now to Trump's rise to power...
Do you also correlate President Trump's rise to second power to Winston Churchill's? But they have way more in common than the Weimar Germany one. And you're a historian professor, you know that, right?
Oh.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump was put in exile, so was Churchill after the Darnells. You know about the Darnells because you're a professor, right?
I would rather focus primarily on...
If you're a World War I professor and you don't know about the Darnells, okay, this is what you're paying for, everybody.
I can give you some comparisons that I would necessarily see. I mean, if you look at... You have a populist movement, right? You have someone who is has a cult of personality, a very effective rhetoric. If you look at the assassination attempts that were on Hitler and on Trump, if you look at even the iconography that you have within the MAGA hats, you have a white lettering on a red background. If you even go even further...
Oh, I got another one you forgot. Yeah. Did you know that Hitler had a dog?
Okay. No. So the very nature of history is seeing a level of comparison of analysis. Once again...
This is how education is dispensed, people. Red letters and white background. Groundbreaking stuff.
Should we just normalize teen parenting at this point because it's a normal thing? We are girls, we're human. That's what we made for. Not really made for, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
No, we cannot normalize teen pregnancy. Absolutely not. There is way more things to do with your life as a teenager than getting pregnant. As a teenager, you should be able to go and hang out with your friends, do things with your family, go to college, start your own business, do things that are going to make you happy. But getting pregnant, I just feel like it's something that doesn't make a lot of teenagers happy, but they just get pregnant because either one, it was something that happened through the process of them being intimate with somebody else, very well-informed education. And trust and believe, you do not want to get pregnant at a young age. It is not going to be fun, and you're going to lose out on your youth years. I understand that these are young people who should have control over their autonomy, but I really need you guys to understand the decision that you're making will affect the rest of your life, okay? I just think that you could slow down, enjoy your youth years, and then when you're done with school, you got your life together, and you get with a good partner, and you're maybe in your late 20s or early 30s, then you could think about getting pregnant. But getting pregnant at like 17, 18, 15, that's crazy. That's crazy.
She can't even speak properly, but she wants to be a normalized teenage mother. Please stay in school.
Sure. I mean, you could take the Jonestown death cult, which there was a charismatic leader that constantly lied people, and they took him out of everyday normal life and leads them towards ostracization and cutting off of family ties. Am I getting closer to describing the Democrat Party?
According to the... No.
I can't believe she didn't see the trap. It was right there.
I was hate crime 5 times in one night, okay? 3 of them by Trump supporters.
What happened to you?
I was walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me, MAGA apparel, everything, They drove past me, and they were like...
They said the N-word on campus. Okay, so what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Threatening to rape you is an intent of a crime. Did you go to the police? You file a police report? You hire an attorney? You sue the school? Did you go to the civil rights office? Do you file a civil rights complaint? Did you do any of that? Because you should. Okay. No, did you? Tell me, yes or no?
I did not, but
why?
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, but you're coming in front of 2,000 people to say it. Why did you not go to the university and say this happened?
Next instance, they threatened to rape me, and then and just drove off.
Hold on, so a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
I'm gonna show you the university official, and why don't you go file a Department of Education complaint, and let's find these terrible people that did this to you. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think about
and by the
that.
way, we'll be able to look at security camera footage, and we'll see.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But you didn't do that.
Can I try
though.
to finish?
You'll think about it. Hold on. Why wouldn't you want to do that immediately? No, honestly, I think you're Jussie Smollett at this campus. I think you're completely making this whole thing up. I think you are a complete liar because I am now giving you an opportunity to report this at the high. I will bring this to Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education, the federal government. I will make sure these people are arrested by Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. And you'll say, oh, I'll think about it. Because you're making this up. You're doing this for a political purpose. So will you, no, seriously, Kash Patel will get involved, yes? It's a hate crime. That's not acceptable. Will you do this or not?
That's really cute, Charlie, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity to alleviate hate within this group of people who have a shared ideology.
But hold on a second. There's no hate. There's just love of America here in this audience. That's all that's here today, okay? That's all that's here.
There is no way that happened, and we didn't see a single TikTok video about it. Really? You know, liberals live to make complaints, especially against straight white homophobic men. Mix Jussie Smollett and Jaden Smith, and you get this kid.
WNBA, quote unquote, not being profitable isn't an excuse for the players to not ask for the salaries that they deserve.
I'd like to offer a quick counterpoint of, yeah, it is. Like, this isn't even a failure to teach economics. Like, this is a failure to learn basic math and basic arithmetic. Like, this is a failure of simple addition and subtraction. Because by the fact that the WNBA is not profitable, what that means is there is no money to pay them more. Like, the money itself doesn't exist. And look, I recognize that sports leagues take 20 to 30 years to become profitable. And there's a very good chance that in the future, the WNBA will become profitable. I mean, the NBA took 31 years to turn a profit. The NFL took like 20 something. But during that time, those players had way less pay and most of them had second jobs. Only women would think that they don't have to endure that like everybody else did. I mean, these ladies are literally demanding more pay from a league that loses money.
I actually agree with her. Pay them what they actually deserve. They'd be owing the organization millions.
I'm a trans teacher, and yes, I am teaching your kids pronouns in school. But this is because they don't know the difference between there, and there.
Trump supporting teacher here, you're not teaching pronouns, buddy, you're teaching homophone. Words that sound the same that have a different spelling and a different meaning. You're getting the concepts you teach children confused, and you wonder why Trump wants to eliminate the Department of Education. Let me break this down for you because I don't think your coach went through this with you when they gave you coaching feedback as someone getting their PhD in special education. So, homophones, your example was there, and there. I'm going to use the example of buy. Written by, I buy something. Words that sound the same that have a different spelling and different meaning. Better yet, how about here, I hear something, versus here, come here. Or how about mail, because I'm a man, versus mail that I get from the US Postal Service. Not you getting the concepts you teach young children confused. Oh my God, make America great again. Honestly, be so for real.
Would you look at that? Even teachers are uneducated.
Hey, so Donald Trump is using the White House as a backdrop for a car advertisement for the richest man on earth.
Bro, I'm totally with you. The president of the United States should not be doing car what's that? Oh, that's just Joe Biden doing an advertisement and driving a $100,000 Jeep Rubicon around the South Lawn. But I mean, that's like wait, what's that? Oh, that's President Barack Obama doing an advertisement and driving a Chevy Volt around the South Lawn. It's almost like every president in recent times has done an advertisement to push an American car company and push EVs. Yeah, you know what? We'll pretend like that hasn't happened. Yeah, bro, just, context.
Liberals are the biggest hypocrites in the world.
Are not a creature or a victim of what happened 104 years ago.
You made some interesting points about the crime statistics in the African American community. You think crime and poverty are intrinsically linked?
Not always, but they could be directionally close to each other. For example, poor Asians are not necessarily more likely to commit crimes than a poor black person.
Okay. Do you think there's systematic functions in place that prevent African Americans from moving upward?
No, does not exist.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think they've ever enforced any policies or any actions?
Maybe 40 or 50 years ago, but nothing in nothing in our lifetime, not even close.
I would say in our lifetime, right? Within our
That's a big deal,
our last
right?
20 decades, our last 2 decades, right?
we've had a lot of opportunities for upper mobility, right?
And for whatever reason,
but at a systemic level, there's a history of prejudice within the American system against African Americans and black people.
But there's also historic systemic bias against Asian Americans. It hasn't held them back.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about them.
No,
right?
but it's important to compare. Why is it that it held blacks back but not Asians?
Well, let me speak about Asians. As a model minority, right? They've had more opportunities for upper mobility.
How?
Well, in terms of getting business loans, setting up in different neighborhoods.
Well, there was a lot more anti-Asian discrimination in California than anti-black discrimination in the 40s and 50s.
So you agree 100% that African Americans have given the same opportunities?
No, I'm not. Look,
as far as redlining goes,
groups are sometimes treated poorly. Whether or not you're able to overcome that is the question. Number two.
So treated poorly doesn't cover it. I have a couple things. I have a couple lines right here. We have the Tulsa Massacre of 1921, right?
Yeah,
where African Americans established Well, they established a Black Wall Street, right? And that was taken down. We have the Black Panthers in San Francisco. I'm saying there's a history. I'm trying to establish a link here.
No, but I think, again, that you're trained to do this in the college. It has no bearing on whether or not you can make good decisions or not.
Well,
right?
College has no impetus on my thinking. This is organic.
I know, but I reject the whole premise. Your own being, with your own agency, your own ability to make decisions of right or wrong.
And I agree to not subscribing to victim mentality and taking accountability for your actions.
I don't think any of that plays into your current status.
Are you glued to the victim card or something? Just let it go.
I will never not be impressed by how unintelligent and out of touch with reality the women of The View are.
When you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
The level of commitment to idiocy is actually remarkable. Let me help you here, Whoopi. This issue matters because women matter. Because reality matters. These are the same people who at one point screamed and screeched, follow the science. Doesn't seem like Whoopi Goldberg is following the science now. Also, literally no one thinks that men shouldn't be playing in women's sports because women are weak. It is not misogynistic to point out that mediocre men can beat exceptional women. The inverse of that is not true. The U.S. women's national soccer team, for example. And if that wasn't enough, watch Whoopi Goldberg blaspheme the Lord.
God doesn't make mistakes. No. And the challenge is not to the trans people, it's to the people who are not trans. That's what God is looking to see, how you treat people.
Yeah. I feel like this goes without saying, but God does not pick and choose who he will judge on Judgment Day. Although Whoopi did get one thing right. God does not make mistakes. Therefore, he does not put people in the wrong body.
Whoopi is such a tiring character, honestly. God doesn't make mistakes, but people think they've been put in the wrong body and you believe them?
I'm an American citizen, and I support the Ukraine. What President Trump and his sidekick, J.D. Vance, the vice president, did this week was shocking and shameful. President Zelensky, many of us here who are average citizens in the United States, we support you. We know that Russia is really at fault here and that our Oompa Loompa is in his pocket. And for that, I know I am very sorry. And I am sorry that you're still having to deal with this war. But we stand with you and with the Ukrainian people, despite what was said in the Oval Office. He does not speak for all of us.
Ma'am, I don't think you're in the position to call Trump an Oompa Loompa. Me personally, I'd rather be an Oompa Loompa than Violet.
I think you should focus on your neck being able to support your neck.
I'm a male, can I get pregnant?
If you're a transgender, yeah.
How would that work? So for our viewers and for my edification, how would that work? So I'm a male, chromosomes, biological, etc. How could I get pregnant?
Well, if you're assigned female at birth, then you would still have like a woman's stuff. But then if you identified as a man.
No, as in, sorry, that's my fault, my wording.
Sorry.
No, so if I'm a biological man,
yes,
and I don't have a uterus, as a man, can I get pregnant?
If you're assigned male, then no, you don't have those reproductive.
No original thought, no outstanding idea. Absolutely nothing goes on in that mind.
$1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. Biodiversity in Nepal, $19 million.
Again, those can be important. You have to, those could be helpful.
Okay, so how could biodiversity in Nepal?
for $19 million. We spent $20 million for a new Sesame Street in Iraq.
You have to both justify that these programs are bad. I think no, you can flash design. This is a program. It costs this much money. You can say that.
Do you know anything about Liberia? I happen to know a lot about it. But that's a separate issue.
It's not about what I know. It's about the people in the government making these decisions.
Yes, and they have proven themselves to be robber barons over the last 20 years. They're spending your money with reckless abandon and total indiscretion. You think the government is innocent until proven guilty. I think the government, after what we've learned, is guilty until proven innocent. They have to justify why this money is being spent in the first place.
Wait a minute. That's how the law works. Innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove that.
That's not how taxpayer money works, though. It's that if we find waste, you're going to have to over-justify why this exists in the first place. This is the first time in my lifetime we have an administration going after the waste, going after the size of government to balance the budget so that you guys don't live as indentured servants and Russian serfs for the rest of your life.
He probably doesn't even know what continent Liberia is in. Sounds like liberal, so it must be important, I guess.
Ask you very clearly, was Obama racist and xenophobic for deporting those people?
Racist and xenophobic.
We deported 3 million illegal immigrants.
Well, he was upholding the law, I guess.
So what's Trump doing then?
Well, he's doing it without upholding the law.
How is Trump deporting people different than what Obama did?
What the people have to do with anything? You know who needs to be deported? Everybody who's not a Native American. Okay?
All right, thank you.
You're a friend.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Then we should all go to Mars then. This ridiculous self-hate within woke liberals has got to go.
No, we're gonna make America great again, right?
We're being harassed over here, sir.
That's the third time I've heard the buzzword today.
Okay, ma'am, can you tell me what's happening? They're in my space.
We're on the curb.
And shouting things.
They weren't shouting. We've been
Yeah.
monitoring them, so they're not shouting. There's nothing wrong with their presence alone. As long as you guys aren't doing anything to intimidate and invoke fear into people or provoking argumentative comments.
Does tampon Tim count as like an inflammatory comment?
That cop should not be allowed to play poker.
Why can you not respect the existence of trans people?
If you mean lying, I won't lie. But every human being is made in the image of God, and so they deserve human rights.
It's lying to... I'm confused. What?
It is a lie to call somebody
they prefer.
to call them a pronoun that is not rooted in reality. Let me ask you, can anyone become a woman?
It doesn't have anything to do with me, so yes.
Okay, look, if a biological man came next to you in your dormitory or locker room, would you be okay with that?
If they came next to me.
And started
yeah,
changing next to you?
Sure. What does that have to do with me?
A naked man comes next to you in the locker room and just starts saying, hey, how you doing? You have no issue with that.
If it was someone that identified as a woman and they weren't hostile towards me, no, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, so there is a mental delusion out there where people think that they are 12 years old. Should we affirm that?
No.
Okay, so then if we don't affirm that mental delusion, why should we affirm the mental delusion where men who think they are women or women who think they are men?
Because there's a power like problem with age.
And there's no power problem between men becoming women? Or going into locker rooms or winning female trophies or winning female sports?
There can be, but it's all about people being comfortable and being respectful.
You see, this is where we have a difference. So you look at the world through trying to accommodate the comfort of the oppressed. We look at the world through right and wrong, moral and immoral, and just and unjust. We don't care about making people comfortable. We care about what is right.
I think her gigantic sunglasses aren't letting her see reason.
This is what brain rot culture has done to the workforce.
She's the flight attendant who's trying to foster her dream job.
I didn't think that, being so happy can turn into something like this.
She posted the video on
Do that at
TikTok along
home.
with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says Alaska Airlines fired her.
What did they say to you? They just said that I broke their social media policy.
You don't go to work and start twerking there. There's occupations where you can do that, but you wouldn't be wearing what you're wearing. You wouldn't be wearing anything at all. Girl, you are in a professional work setting and you are supposed to be acting like it, but instead you took your goofy grown self on TV to play the victim and sit there patting your tears away because you don't understand why twerking on the job and posting it just got you fired. And what company doesn't have a policy hypocrisy when it comes to social media. What did you think was going to happen? There is a time and a place to twerk. In the club where we are all fam. But you might want to sit the club out for a few weeks, sis, because you...
What's wrong with being happy? When you guys get happy at work, do you start throwing it back on TikTok?
Should we tell them? Yeah, I think we should tell them. Okay, let's tell them. Here we go.
They will blame Israel somehow.
You already paid for half the date when you got your nails done, your hair done, and put all that expensive makeup on your face. Your payment was looking like a hot. He can pick up your apple.
I really, really hope that the women out there don't actually believe this. Really, really hope.
You're getting relationship advice from him. Is that a him?
Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for one, do you?
Yeah, I believe them.
Any protests over the deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you, what's your message to the people?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officers.
Here, please, let's just keep the volume down here. I'm asking the questions here. You're answering the questions by asking questions about some other subject that we're not discussing.
We're talking about this
conversation.
hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter. You said you're not a member? You can't be a member. It's not an organization.
Sheriff, we appreciate you coming up.
Is Don Lemon missing screws in his head? His response was quite straightforward. He made a statement.
America is the land of opportunity.
Do you know this country was built on slave back?
Do you know how many countries were built on slaves?
Okay,
this country also abolished
Ooh.
slavery. How many hundreds of thousands of people died to end slavery? Huh? How many white people died to end slavery?
Okay, some white people are.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
No.
Yes.
But you was like, why do you sit here and do this?
You're telling him because of his heritage, he can't be a Republican. That's like racist. If I was like, hey, you have to like something because of the color of your skin, that's kind of wild. I would never.
He definitely showed up with answers that day.
It's wrong to murder a baby.
You're not murdering a baby. It's
Okay.
not a baby.
What is it then?
It is an embryo.
What species is the baby in the womb?
It's a human, but it's
Therefore,
an
they should have
embryo.
human rights.
No, I do not agree.
Oh, so small humans, no human rights. Grown humans,
It's
human
not
rights.
a small human. It's an embryo.
It has a heartbeat. It has brain
that does
waves.
not make it a child.
The excuses given for abortion is humanization. Oh, it's just an embryo. Guys, that's just using different language to justify the massacre of something smaller than you.
If I were to be pregnant right now and forced to have a baby, that would ruin my life. If I just happened to be pregnant.
Oh, you don't happen to get pregnant. It's like not like getting COVID.
I know how it
okay?
works.
You don't get the flu.
I know,
How about
but
this?
say
You
I got
take
pregnant.
responsibility for your orgasms and
What if
stop
that doesn't
eliminating
work?
people smaller than you.
So you're saying I should carry a baby and ruin my collegiate life?
How about this? Instead of saying ruin, first of all, babies are a blessing. Stop talking at them as if they're some sort of annoyance.
I will have to drop out of college.
Number two, you play certain games, you win certain prizes. If you're gonna go have sex,
So you're saying
you
I
might-
should drop out of college to support my child
I'm
instead of supporting my life?
I'm saying if you're going to engage in coitus, in the practice of having children, you might end up with a baby. So know that. And guess what? You don't need to have sex before you get married. It's not like showering. It's not like eating.
Are you married?
Yes, with 2 beautiful children.
Wow, good for you.
I could tell you're not married.
She seems so upset about the basic knowledge that actions have consequences. There are so many preventive measures. Pick one.
What are you doing out here?
What are you doing here?
Protests?
Why? Read your shirt. Girls just want to have fundamental rights, and this administration is taking away my children's rights.
What rights are being taken away?
Access to basic health care for women.
Like what? What basic health care?
Abortion, obviously.
You think that's basic health care?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You think killing a baby is health care?
It's not killing a baby, honey. It's taking care of your body in the way that you choose to.
How many hearts does a human being have? One, right. So how many hearts does a woman have with a baby inside of her? Two.
One, because it's a fetus.
Two. You have a heartbeat? You have a heartbeat after 2 months.
And they should run away for saying such ridiculous and shameless things. Imagine trying to force your daughter into the pro-abortion cult. You don't care about babies in the womb or the adolescents in your home.
Howdy, Chuck.
No one calls me Chuck. No.
I'm doing it.
Okay, bad start.
I don't want this anymore. Okay.
Got a lot of attitude, that's for sure. Were you in Ozark or am I just losing my mind?
You're losing your mind.
Are you sure?
Out of your mind, yeah.
Do you know Marty Bird?
Oh my god.
Blink if you know Marty Bird.
So you're a big freedom of speech guy, right?
Yes.
All right. So I want to know your opinion on BDS laws. Are you familiar with those?
I think some of them go too. are your First Amendment rights taken from you?
I believe they are.
Well, then someone should sue and bring it up to the Supreme Court if that's the case.
Okay, cool. Good to hear it. Terrible meeting you.
And I don't want to overly generalize, but just like the nastiness of the left is so unbelievable. Like here we are, we're having a nice discussion.
When I got here, someone
I'm sorry.
One person in your party actually said, let's escort her to the mental hospital. So I think it can go both ways with disrespectfulness.
I mean, did you see?
I mean, did she remotely behave like a sane person? I'd guess no. Well, that's a wrap, boys and girls. Thank you for watching. Let's keep the like, comment, and subscribe buttons in mind, shall we? See you in the next one.